Welcome to Millennium Time Bulletin. I'm Shweta Samar from New Delhi and you're watching Millennium News Channel 24. Today I'm bringing you the latest updates from around the world. Let's begin with today's top headlines. Pakistan found gold reserves, 28 lakh tolas of gold valued at 80,000 crore. Pakistan currency discovered in cash-strapped country. Zelensky offered to release captured North Korean soldiers in exchange for Ukrainian soldiers held in Russia. Japan issues tsunami advisory after 6.8 magnitude earthquake strikes. Ukraine losing ground on the battlefield as Trump teams pushes ceasefire. Netanyahu and Biden discuss progress in Gaza ceasefire for hostages deal talks. Japanese Prime Minister raises concern with Biden over his move to block Nippon steel deal for the United States deal. The Origin waves off attempt to launch its most powerful rocket yet. Global markets exhibit mixed sentiment amid US tech weakens and Latin America resilience. Ravens bully the Steelers in the first half and don't look back in 28-14 wildcard victory. Fury announces retirement from boxing again. Now let's look at the details. Cash-strapped Pakistan's unemployment rate rose from 1.5% to 7% over the past decade, has discovered 2.8 million tolas of gold, valued at 800 billion Pakistani rupees, spread across a 32-kilometer stretch in a talk, announced former mining minister of Punjab, that is, Ibrahim Hassan Murad. The revelation, validated by the Geographical Survey of Pakistan, highlights the immense potential of Punjab's natural resources. Massive gold deposit, that is 2.8 million tolas, confirmed through extensive research, said the statement of former minister on X. As per the statement, economic potential of gold reserve unearthed in Pakistan stands at 800 billion Pakistani rupees that can help in fueling economic growth in Pakistan. Scientific verification, Geological Survey of Pakistan conducted through sampling from 127 sites. The milestone marks a significant step toward unlocking Pakistan's mineral wealth, setting the stage for economic revitalization and new economic opportunity for future generations, said the statement. The data also highlights the increase in population has rendered it difficult to address issues related to health, education, and other necessary needs. Every year, the population grows by 5 million, which caused to the contribution to poverty, as per the Every News. We'll have to see how the story unfolds. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky had said he's willing to release North Korean soldiers captured by Ukraine in the Kursk region of Russia in exchange for Ukrainian soldiers being held captive in Russia. Ukraine is ready to hand over North Korean leader Kim Jong-un's soldier to him if he can organize their exchange for our warriors who are being held captive in Russia. Zelensky said on Saturday in a post on X that included a video purportedly showing 2 North Korean prisoners of war being interrogated. On Saturday, Ukraine said it had captured 2 North Korean soldiers, marking the first time that Kyiv has captured soldiers alive from the isolated state. Neither Moscow nor Pyongyang have officially acknowledged the presence of North Korean troops in Russia. CNN has reached out to the Russian Ministry of Defense for comment and is seeking comment from North Korea. One soldier has a wounded jaw, the other has bandaged hands. One of the soldiers who appears in the video lying down say he did not know he was fighting in a war against Ukraine and that his commanders told him it was a training exercise. The interrogators, whose voice has been modulated to Officer the identity asks both soldiers whether they have to return to North Korea, according to CNN translation of the video. One nods the other after further prompting from the translators who ask, "Do you like it here in Ukraine?" "It's nice here," she says, and wants to stay in Ukraine, but adds later that he will do as he is told. In a daily address later Sunday, Zelensky claimed that one of the soldiers had expressed a desire to stay in Ukraine. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov was tight-lipped about Zelensky's offer to swap the captured North Korean for Ukrainian prisoners taken by Russia, but said the Kremlin was interested in discussing potential exchanges. "We do not know what is true here, who offered what to whom," Peskov said on Monday. "The process is not easy, but the life of each of our soldiers in the captivity is important to us. This work will continue according to the Ukrainian and Western assessment. Some 11,000 North Korean troops are deployed in Kursk region, where Ukrainian forces occupy several hundred square kilometers after staging a cross-border incursion in August last year." A 6.8 magnitude earthquake struck southwestern Japan late on Monday, causing 2 small tsunamis in the area, but no damage reported. The quake struck at the depth of 36 kilometers, around 18 kilometers off the coast of Miyazaki Prefecture in the Kyushu region around 10 o'clock, according to U.S. Geological Survey. The Japan Meteorological Agency warned of possible tsunami waves of up to 1 meter, that is 3 feet, and urged the public to stay away from the coastal waters. "Tsunami can strike repeatedly. Please do not enter the sea or go near the coastal areas," the JMA said on X. 2 small tsunamis of around 20 centimeters were detected at 2 ports in the region, the weather agency said. Local media reported no immediate injuries, with live television feeds from the region on public broadcaster NHK showing no visible damage, as well as calm seas, vessels operating, and traffic running normally. Sitting on the top of 4 major tectonic plates along the western edge of Pacific Ring of Fire, Japan is one of the world's most tectonically active countries. The archipelago, home to around 125 million people, experiencing around 1,500 joules every year, and accounts for around 18 centimeter and 18% of world earthquake every year. The vast majority are mild, although the damage they cause varies according to their location and depth below the Earth's surface as they strike. On the New Year Day 2024, a 7.5 magnitude earthquake struck the Noto Peninsula, killing nearly 740 people in Japan's biggest fault, and over a decade, many of them elderly residents in the aftermath were dead. Last August, the JMA warned that the likelihood of a mega quake was higher than normal following a magnitude of 7.1 jolt that injured 15 people. There was a particular kind of tremor known as the subduction megathrust quake, which had occurred in pairs in the past and unleashed massive tsunamis. The advisory concerned the Nikkei-Tro 800 km, that is 500-mile undersea gully parallel to Japan's Pacific coast between 2 tectonic plates are responsible for these droughts. Donald Trump re-enters the White House. Ukraine is bracing for some tough choices in the coming months. Its troops are on the back foot against Russia along several parts of the long front line. It is short of experienced soldiers and doubtful that military aid will continue to arrive at anything like the current rate. In Kyiv, the government waits and watches the signal of Moscow and Washington and reiterates almost daily its desire for a just peace. Any thought of recovering the territory seized by Russia is on an indefinite hold. Despite having heavy losses, Russia forces continue to push forward remorselessly in Donetsk region, one of 4 that Moscow has illegally annexed and is seeking a full occupy. The daily gains are measured in fields and streets as they creep toward the industrial belt of the region. According to open source analyst War Mapper, Russia is occupying just over 18% of Ukraine, including Crimea and other Donetsk and Luhansk, that is, had taken over by 2022. Russian forces had taken some 150 square mile, that is 400 square kilometers, in December. Ukrainian units are vastly outnumbered in the east. One commander said this week that small group of Russian infantry were conducting assault from multiple directions at once, making it difficult for Ukrainian forces to concentrate fire, while the correlation of forces with respect to tactical fire, drones, and long-range strike appears not to be favoring either side to a significant extent. Manpower remains the key differentiator between Russia and Ukraine, says Mikyan. And right, the blog Futura Doctrina that Russia unit are now 3 miles, that is 5 kilometers, from hub of Pokrovsk and have been taken control of Kurakov and part of town of Toretsk, according to a geolocated video. The commander of one Ukrainian battalion near Porks region said Russia forces that have intensified shelling and glide bomb strikes. Military spokesperson Victor told Ukrainian television that fighting continued around Kurakov and troops were holding out at power plant. So we cannot say that Russian troops have taken the town completely, but of course most of the town have been reduced to rubble. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has spoken with US President Joe Biden over the progress in negotiation for a Gaza ceasefire hostage deal. The Prime Minister discussed with the American President the progress in negotiation to release our hostages and updated him on the mandate he gave to negotiating team to Doha in order to advance the release of our hostages. Netanyahu said in a statement about the call on Sunday, it added the Prime Minister wanted to thank the American President Joe Biden and the incoming President Donald Trump for their cooperation for the Holy Mission. The White House said Biden and Netanyahu discussed the negotiation in Doha based on the proposal the US President laid out in May. Biden once again called for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza, the return of the hostages, and increased humanitarian aid to the enclave. Biden also spoke to Netanyahu about the fundamentally changed regional circumstances following the ceasefire in Lebanon in November last year. The collapse of the former Syrian President Bashar al-Assad regime the following month and Iran's weakened position in the region, the White House said. This is the first publicly announced call between the two men since October 2024, and it comes as Netanyahu summoned two major critics of Biden's ceasefire deal proposals to meeting to discuss a potential lead. Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich and National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir have previously rejected a peace proposal laid out by Biden in May of last year, which would pair a release of hostages with a full and complete ceasefire. Both ministers rejected the idea of immediate ceasefire and have called for fighting to continue until Hama is destroyed and all hostages are returned. The far-right ministers have previously threatened to resign and topple Netanyahu's governing coalition if he accepted Biden's proposal. The meeting with the Israeli cabinet members on Sunday come as Israeli negotiators have expressed cautious optimism at the talks ongoing in Doha this weekend, which involves a high-level Israeli delegation including Mossad chief David Barnea. Japan Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba asked US President Joe Biden to allay concern in the Japanese and US business communities over his order to block Nippon Steel planned acquisition of US steel. Ishiba made the request in a three-way online meeting with Biden and Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. on Monday, which covered issues of economic security and cooperation in maritime security in the South China Sea. According to the spokesperson from Japan Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Prime Minister Ishiba pointed out that cooperation among allies and like-minded countries is indispensable for establishing resilient supply chains, and that it is important to make efforts to ensure that companies can invest with peace of mind in order to promote economic security, he added. The spokesperson confirmed that Ishiba mentioned the Nippon Steel-US Steel deal in particular, the Biden administration has delayed until June an order for Nippon Steel to abandon its $14.9 billion bid for US Steel. This company said on Saturday that the president earlier blocked the acquisition on national security grounds on January 3. The parties previously had 30 days to unwind their transaction. The delay will give the court time to review lawsuits brought by Nippon and US Steel challenging Biden's order blocking the deal. Nippon Steel and US Steel have announced their intention to move forward with their efforts to close the deal. They filed federal lawsuit against both the federal action to block the deal as well as against the United Steelworkers Union and rival domestic steelmaker Cleveland-Cliffs, which both have worked to stop the deal from going through. The Origin, the rocket company founded by Jeff Bezos in 2000, have called off its first attempt to get its new 30-story New Glenn rocket off the ground. The company had been set to ignite the rocket during a 3-hour launch window that opened Monday at 1 o'clock European time from the Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida. But during a live stream of event, the company revealed the engineers were grappling with anomalies which in aerospace parlance for issues with the rocket that must be fixed before giving the final green light for takeoff. The company did not immediately share what exactly the problems were that engineers were seeking to remedy. We are standing down from today's launch attempt to troubleshoot a vehicle subsystem issue, said Ariane Cornell, Blue Origin's vice president of in-space systems. It's also unclear when the Blue Origin may make another launch attempt, Cornell said, and the next step is to drain the New Glenn rocket of its fuel. The company began filling the vehicle's fuel tanks with propellant including liquid methane, hydrogen and oxygen late Sunday evening. At one point Monday morning, the countdown clock crept down to show less than 10 minutes before liftoff. But Blue Origin routinely added more time as engineers worked to troubleshoot outstanding issues. Ultimately, the problems were not solved with ample of time before the launch window was set to close at 4 a.m. European time. A smooth inaugural liftoff for the New Glenn could be crucial as the company is hoping to gather copious data from the flight and pave the way for the rocket to quickly make an impact on the global launch industry. New Glenn is the first rocket developed by Blue Origin that aims to be capable of sending satellites to orbit, a feat that will be necessary for any company hoping to challenge SpaceX's long-hold dominance in the launch market. Blue Origin waved off the New Glenn launch heading into a busy week for spaceflight, notably a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket carrying 2 lunar landers in a set to take off from NASA Kennedy Space Center, which lies adjacent to Cape Canaveral, as well as soon on Wednesday at 2 o'clock European time. SpaceX is also due to kick off the 7th test flight of its Gargantuan Starship rocket on Wednesday. Now bringing you the latest updates on today's market trends. Today's world market reflects divergent trends, with the Americas displacing mixed performance influenced by sectoral dynamics and regional conditions. The Dow Jones Industrial Average in the United States gained 128.44 points, up 0.31%, signaling resilience in industrial and blue-chip stock amid broader uncertainties. In contrast, the S&P 500 and Nasdaq experienced notable declines of 0.56% and 1.17% respectively, weighed down by tech sector weakness and profit-taking following recent highs. The Russell 2000, a key indicator for small cap stocks, dropped 0.72%, suggesting waning investor confidence in smaller growth-oriented companies. Meanwhile, the VIX, often dubbed the fear index, spiked 6.50% to 20.81, pointing to heightened market volatility as traders brace for upcoming economic data and corporate earnings. In Canada, both the S&P TSX Composite and TSX 60 fell by 0.62% and 0.57% respectively, reflecting weakness in resource-based sector amid fluctuating commodity prices. However, Latin America market showed relative strength, with Brazil's Bovespa advancing 0.49% and Mexico's S&P BMV IPC rising 0.15%. These gains more likely fueled by optimism surrounding local economic data and currency stability, while China's S&P IPSA, however, dipped by 0.15%, underscoring ongoing challenges in the region's commodity-dependent economy. Broader picture suggests a cautious global market, with investors digesting mixed earning, inflationary pressures, and geopolitical tensions. While tech-heavy indices in the United States remain under pressure, regional markets like Brazil and Mexico continue to attract interest, offering pockets of opportunity in an otherwise uncertain environment. In today's ETF market, activity leveraged fund witnessed significant downward pressure driven by heightened volatility in the underlying sectors. The Direxion Daily Semiconductor Bull 3X share, that is XOSL, lead the declines, dropping 4.35% to $26.83. The semiconductor sector, a high-growth industry, continues to face headwinds from the weaker global demand and sector-specific sell-offs. The Direxion Daily Tesla Bull 2X share fell 3.86% to $24.92, reflecting bearish sentiment surrounding Tesla and broader EV market. Concerns about slowing demand, tighter credit condition, and recent price volatility in Tesla share have weighed heavily on leveraged ETF. The T-Rex 2X Long MicroStrategy Daily Target ETF experienced the steepest drop, plunging 10.18% to $8.32. This reflecting the highly speculative nature of cryptocurrency-linked asset, as Bitcoin-related stock and funds saw notable pullbacks amid fluctuating sentiment in digital assets. The iShares Bitcoin Trust ETF IBIT also took a hit, declining 3.97% to $51.70. Bitcoin retreat from recent highs have dampened investor confidence, with IBIT mirroring the downturn in crypto markets. Similarly, the ProShare Ultra Pro QQQ, which tracks the Nasdaq 100 with triple leverage, slid 3.87 to $73.86. Weakness in the tech-heavy Nasdaq index, driven by declining mega-cap tech stock, contributed to the ETF underperformance. Overall, today's ETF market highlights the inherent risk of leveraged product during periods of heightened volatility and sector-specific pressures. Investors remain cautious, balancing the appeal of short-term gains with the amplified risk these funds present in choppy market conditions. We'll be right back after a short break. I'm Shweta Samar from New Delhi. Keep watching Millennium Time Bulletin.
Millennium TV, bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Welcome back after the break. I'm Shweta Samar from New Delhi and you're watching Millennium Time Bulletin. Now let's look at some sports highlights. The Baltimore Ravens are going to go as far as Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson can carry them. And if Saturday night's dominant win over the Pittsburgh Steelers is any indication, that could take them all the way to New Orleans. The Thunder and Lightning duo highlighted a Baltimore running attack that went a team postseason record of 299 yards, pacing the Ravens to a 28-14 win over their AFC North rivals. Henry ran for 186 yards on 26 tough carries, punishing the Steelers' defense reportedly with tough runs right into the teeth of the defensive line. He found the right seams, breaking for a long touchdown run and a shorter bruiser for his two scores. Jackson, meanwhile, was electric as only he can be. He rushed 15 times for 81 yards while also completing 16 of the 21 passes for 175 yards and 2 touchdowns. The rowdy 70,000 fans at M&T Bank Stadium routinely serenaded their stars with chants of MVP, and it's hard to make the case that anyone else is truly better than the dual-threat quarterback when he's on the top of his game. Jackson said after the game that Henry reminded him of Lightning McQueen from the movie Cars, when Lightning McQueen just flying, flashing past. Jackson said, "That's how Derek looks when he's passing all those guys, and it looks like a movie, bro. Everyone sees it like I had just had hand ball off and smack hand together, 10 yards, 20 yards, 30 yards," he added. "And I'm chilling, so we are just attacking him, then I go and I'm fresh. It's my job a lot easier." Jackson and Henry simply ran through, around and over the Steeler defense on a massive drive to start the game, going 95 yards to open the scoring. The biggest play of the drive was Henry taking a direct snap and finding a seam in the Steeler front seven, bursting for 34 yards in a play that was punctuated by a brutal stiff arm that sent Steelers star safely Micah Fitzpatrick reeling. Head coach John Harbaugh said the play was put into the playbook specifically for this game against the Steelers, but the score came on Jackson marking an MVP-level throw to Rashad Bateman, cutting across the middle of the Pittsburgh defense in the back of the end zone. Bateman caught the ball and rolled through, securing it to put the Ravens up by 7-0. Former world heavyweight champion Tyson Fury has announced his retirement from boxing. Fury last fought in December when he lost his rematch against WBA, WBC and WBO champion Alexander Usyk. The 36-year-old Fury previously announced his retirement after beating Dillian White in April 2022 but returned 6 months later. The Briton has enjoyed 2 stints as heavyweight champion and holds a record of 34 wins, 2 defeats and 1 draw. "Hi everybody, I'm going to make this short and sweet," Fury said. "I'd like to announce my retirement from boxing. It has been a blast. I have loved every single minute of it, and I'm going to end with this." Dick Turpin wore a mask. The Briton shocked long-reigning world champion Vladimir Klitschko in 2015 to win the WBA Super, IBF, WBO, IBO, and the ring heavyweight titles. After over 2.5 years out the ring, during which he tackled mental health issues, Fury returned to action in 2018 and became a 2-time champion by beating Deontay Wilder to claim the WBC belt in 2020. That's all for now. Thank you for tuning in. Stay with us for more updates. Log in to stay updated with the latest news on our social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Millennium News 24. Don't forget to check out our YouTube channel, Millennium News 24. You can watch us on Android and iOS devices, as well as on Apple TV, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, and all smart TV platforms. Enjoy entertainment and latest news with us. Download the Millennium TV app, Millennium TV USA for Android, and Millennium News on Google. Thank you for being part of Millennium News Channel 24.